Hey, what is going on, guys? It's D Curly Fry here with another video, and today I'm going to be doing the first installment of my 1995 Honda Civic hatchback build. And I wanted to get started by saying my intentions for this build, just so you guys have an idea of what the future videos are going to consist of. And the whole point of this build is just going to be fun with a low budget. I'm not trying to install some crazy parts to make crazy horsepower and beat everyone else. I'm honestly just trying to have fun. You know, the most miles per gallon we can achieve, that's going to be the point of the build. So without further ado, let's get the video started. Alright you guys, so for part one, we're going to be installing this Injen short ram intake into the Civic. Now this particular model is carb legal approved in the state of California. You definitely want this, because if you get pulled over and the cop decides to pop your hood, you have an aftermarket park without this carb legal number, you will be getting sent to the state referee most likely, where you'll incur a lot of fees and just a lot of hassle you don't want to deal with. I don't expect to make a lot of power with this, but it should definitely add more fun. Like I said earlier, we're hopefully going to get better throttle response and hopefully a better sound out of it also. Alright, now for the tools we're going to be using to do this install. I have a Phillips screwdriver, flathead. You may not need both, but in my case I do. Needle nose pliers definitely make the job a lot easier. Then this is the breather tube. It's 3/8 inch. I got 2 feet, but you only need one really. And this is optional, just some polish. Make the intake look better when it gets installed. Alright, so we're going to start by removing the stock intake. First of all, you're going to want to get the airbox loose, so there's 3 bolts here, here, and here that you're going to want to loosen. This will break this loose. And then secondly, you're going to want to loosen this hose clamp here. Once you have that loosened, then you're going to have to basically wiggle the intake out and get this breather hose out. And I'll do that right now. Remove any hoses that are attached to the stock intake tube. Pull that back. And now the intake is basically free of all other hoses. Just going to keep wiggling it off. And then your stock intake. It's kind of tightly jammed in there. Just got to remove it. And that is that. It is removed. And now we are ready to work on installing the new short ram intake. Alright you guys, so I went ahead and did a quick polish. I think it looks a little bit better. Alright, so now that we have the stock intake removed out of the car, we can compare the short ram intake with the stock intake side by side. Obviously made of different material. The geometry seems to be about the same. Same bend almost, same straight. And then obviously this one has a comb filter and this one has a paper filter and this big box. So yeah, now we'll get to installing the short ram intake. Alright, so I attached the breather hose. It was pretty hard to get on this side, but it does fit a lot better on that side. And I'm going to be using 2 hose clamps. One to attach the intake to this grommet and then another to attach this to the throttle body, just for a steadier hold. Alright, now we're just going to slip it in. Careful not to break anything. And then we're just gonna slide on the intake. Keep the hose clamps intact. And now that is on. And I'm going to tighten these hose clamps down. And then we'll worry about attaching the breather hose. Now the intake is in tight. Holds its place now. So that is all installed, and now we're going to attach the breather hose to this. This should be relatively simple, as you just keep pushing, pushing, until it gets itself a nice hold on there. Keep going. Keep going. Now that you have should be able to tug on it, and it holds on both sides, so that should be good. Now it's pretty much all installed. My car does not have a mass airflow sensor, so I'm going to have to find a rubber delete for that, but for the sake of this video, I'm just going to leave it like that for a little bit until I get a grommet in there. that's the end of the video, guys. The intake was only $30 and the install is pretty easy, so it was definitely a good upgrade. Subscribe if you guys want to see more of this Honda Civic build series, and let me know in the comments what other upgrades you guys think I should do.